Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rant Part 2. I was debating making a Rant Part 2 last week, but now that it's come to this week, and here's this commentary spot open, I've got no news to talk about, we're gonna do the Rant Part 2. So I've got a few more things to talk about in this rant video that were comments in my previous video, and you can go check out those comments if you want to. I thank you to a lot of you that did comment in the video, because a lot of you, though you may not have disagreed with me, you did keep your head, you kept your cool, you didn't freak the fuck out, and I completely appreciate that, because there was one such fan who's since been banned from my channel, who completely lost his shit, accused me of being paid off by EA and DICE, and just basically said that I wasn't a Battlefront fan, and that I'm just a fucking fanboy of EA and DICE, and that I suck their nuts, and everything like that, and I'm like, this guy is so fucking stupid, he doesn't justify a response, and so he's been banned from the channel. Cool, guys. If you're just a complete douchebag in the comments, you get banned. Yeah. So, the concerns that mainly were brought up were Day 1 DLC, 40 players, AT-AT on rails, and then I have just a few other things that I've read online. So we're going to start with Day 1 DLC, because obviously that's the first one I have written on the piece of paper that is in front of me. So Day 1 DLC, why should you not be concerned about it? I really wouldn't be too concerned about Day 1 DLC because it's a part of almost every single game at this point. If there's no exclusive DLC for Day 1, there's a season pass that you can buy Day 1 or before Day 1, implying that there's going to be DLC. Every single game makes DLC. You can't deny that. All the major titles these days make DLC, so there's obviously going to be DLC for Star Wars Battlefront. Does that mean that they're creating an incomplete product? A lot of people want to say it does, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're creating an incomplete product to put out. If you look at other games, the whole Batman Arkham series has had 3 pieces of DLC, one with a major storyline in it, and no one complains about those games being sold incomplete. And other games that have been Game of the Year candidates and people absolutely loved, like Red Dead Redemption came with extra DLC. It's just a part of the gaming industry these days. It's meant to be a way to add on to the life of a game, although some developers do take it as, let's see how much money we can milk out. I don't think they're going to do that with Star Wars Battlefront. They're going to sell a complete game, and that's all of it. They're going to sell a complete game. Whether or not you think it's complete is a different story. So, quickly, before we get into 40 players, I wanted to add about the maps, because a lot of people have been concerned with the maps. Everyone's saying, oh, there's only 4 planets, there's hardly any maps. People want to draw comparisons and say, oh my god, Star Wars Battlefront, this new one, they're completely gypping us on planets, maps, everything. Guys, calm the hell down. They've said that there's going to be 4 planets, yes. They haven't confirmed any more than that, and there definitely could be more than that. But what they also have confirmed is that there's going to be at least 2 maps per planet. No, actually at least 3 maps per planet is what they confirmed. So that's 12 maps right there that the game is guaranteed to launch with. And they haven't even announced if there's a 5th or 6th planet. There could be up to 18 maps if they announce a 6th planet. Are you guys satisfied with that? Which, I don't know if we're going to get 6 planets announced, but still, there's going to be a lot of maps. They're not selling you a fucking incomplete game, guys. And then DLC, what I think DLC is going to be is DLC is going to be different planets. So there's 3 or 4 maps from that planet in the DLC, and I think that's perfectly fine. I personally want to see multiple maps from a planet, because there's just so many sides of planets that we don't see. There's so much of the planet that we only get a little itty-bitty taste of it, and I want to see all of these different maps from the planets. So, call me a fanboy, but I really like the idea of multiple maps per planet, and so what if the game doesn't launch with multiple planets? Well, so what if the game doesn't launch with 5 or 6 planets? I'm fine with it launching with 4 planets, with 3 really solid maps per planet. The next big concern is 40-player multiplayer. I don't understand why it's such a big concern. People want to say that 64-player multiplayer is far superior to everything else because there's so many people in it, it's so fun. That really doesn't matter. All that matters is how the map is scaled and how the map is set to play. So I personally don't mind if there's 40 players or if there's 64 players. All that really matters to me is the scaling of the map and how the map is structured to play well with 40 to 64 players. So what may have happened is, you know what, they may have said, hey, let's do 64-player multiplayer. They built all the maps and everything, and they said, wow, this is too crowded. This doesn't flow well. Let's start cutting it back a little bit. And 40 was the sweet spot in terms of the great play style that they're trying to go for. I'm fine with there being 40-player multiplayer. Maybe that's just me, but it's fine. It all depends on the scaling. Now, the AT-AT on Rails. So, everyone thinks it's a terrible idea for the AT-AT to be on Rails. There's even rumors that go so far as to say that the AT-ATs are just completely not even playable. And while I don't know the full extent of it, from what I'm given to believe, from what I have read, the only confirmation of AT-ATs being on Rails has been from the teaser trailer and the gameplay which was shown at Star Wars Celebration exclusively, was that the walker in the trailer was on Rails. The reason I find this so significant is because in the gameplay, they're playing a game mode called Walker Assault, in which the objective is to destroy the walker. So the walker being on Rails in a game mode where the other team's trying to destroy it makes sense to me. I mean, it's basically like you're trying to take it out, but I could just drive it away. But instead, it has to move towards the engagement. That makes sense to me why they would do that. They have not confirmed if AT-ATs outside of Walker Assault are on Rails or not yet. As far as my research has gone, they have not confirmed if AT-ATs are on Rails outside of Walker Assault, which, guys, you gotta do your research before you make your internet claims, everybody. So, what do I think about the AT-ATs being on Rails if they are 100% on Rails? I'm not as mad about it as some people are. I mean, if you look back at Battlefront 2, they're so damn clunky. It's because the fact that they're so big, the movement is so hard, they're just so clunky to use that it makes more sense to have them on Rails, especially on a map like Hoth, where you're just going to go to the same place every single time. You're not going to make a diversion, you're just going to go for the shield generators. That's what always happens, and I'm perfectly fine with them being on Rails at that point, because it's just going to be the same motion path every time, and it just keeps the gameplay running a little bit smoother, so you don't have those big, buggy, freaky AT-ATs. I think I'm more okay with it than most people, and that's probably going to get me a little bit ridiculed, but I really see the advantage to the AT-AT being on Rails in the game. Now, we move into some other topics that were less mentioned, but are apparently big things on the internet, and there's only really one of them, and that is split screen. So, you know what, DICE decides to give us split screen. It's the first game that enables split screen in quite some time, and people still want to fucking bitch about it. I mean, people want to bitch that it's just console exclusive, that you can't play split screen on a PC, and I think that's incredibly fucking stupid. Because who in God's name is playing split screen on a fucking PC these days? Are you kidding me? Who's playing split screen on a PC? I know there's probably 1,000 people in the world that like to play split screen games on the PC. And they're playing split screen, so there's only 500 PCs that are enabling split screen, let's say. I don't care if there's split screen on PC. I'm never going to use it. People that play split screen play console. People who play PC don't fucking play split screen that often. Let's be 100% honest. And then there was just some other things. I remember seeing a graphic that compared the two games, and it's completely inaccurate. It said, like, hold on, let me see if I can find it really quick. Alright guys, I found it. I will make an attempt to put this graphic into the video, but this graphic just completely pissed me off. So, number of maps, 33 on 16 planets, and then it goes on to compare the number of maps, number of players, and we've already talked about those. Space battles, we've already talked about that. Moddable, obviously they're not going to make this game moddable. Most modern games aren't moddable, so that's just crap to compare. DLC, 5 planned DLC packs, I'm okay with that because it's going to extend the life of the game. One more quick note about the planets, or the maps. There's going to be at least 12, not 8, you stupid fuck, whoever made this graphic. Campaign, it doesn't have a campaign, we already talked about that. We already talked about Galactic Conquest, we already talked about Instant Action. Infantry, loadout only 2 heroes. You are an idiot. They've only confirmed 2 heroes so far. Let's see how true this is when the game finally drops. I'm willing to bet there's going to be at least 8 heroes. And loadouts only? It's not loadouts only, it's custom loadouts that you get to create, which, completely bullshit. And then it says, vehicle types, none are confirmed playable. You're a stupid fuck for putting that in there. And only 5 others seen in trailers. So you expect that there's only really going to be 5 vehicles playable. There's going to be more than 5 vehicles playable, guys. You've got to be absolutely kidding me. If you believe some of the shit that gets put online, This is just absolutely stupid. In my bet, there's probably going to be like 20 to 30 playable vehicles, which are going to be confirmed as playable. AI only in one game mode. Okay, that's kind of true, but there's going to be multiple features in that game mode, and then playable era's classic prequel. I'm fine with it just being in the classic era, like we said in the last video. So I want to thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, as always, I encourage you to leave a like, rating, comment down below, letting me know what you guys thought of this episode, and what you think of this fucking stupid list. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.